Before you continue watching this video, you can ask your teacher to print out this student handout so that you can follow along on the 4 types of transformations. She can just go to tinyurl.com/transformationsworkshop. Once you have the handout, we'll go ahead and get started. The first type of transformation that we're going to start with is a translation. Inside the word translation, you'll notice this SL. This is just a cute little reminder that translations slide. They're going to take shapes and slide them up, down, left, and right around the page. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the problem. It says that triangle ABC was translated 4 units down. I'm going to underline that. That's pretty important right there. And it's also translated 6 units right to create triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Now it's important that you know how to pronounce that. It's just like Amazon Prime. That is what lets us know that this is the new image, whereas this was the original. We also call this the pre-image, and the one with the primes on it is also known as the image. So pre, before, image, after. What we're going to do is write the rule that describes the translation that was applied to this triangle. So let's go ahead and physically slide this guy. If we start with point A, and I do recommend that you just start with 1 point at a time, let's take point A and move it 4 units down and 6 units to the right. So we're just going to start here and count. Now remember, this is 0, so do not count this as 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go 6 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where we're going to draw that new point. Again, that's now called A prime. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with point B. Again, we're going to go 4 units down and 6 units to the right. So we're going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, that's called B prime. Go ahead and pause the video here and see if you can find the location of C prime as well as labeling it. So hopefully you found that C prime is located right here. And then we can go ahead and connect our dots. That is our new image triangle. Now we're going to skip over here. We're going to look at where these new points are located. If you look at A prime, its x value is at 2, and its y value is at -1. That's really important that you know that the order matters there. So again, that's 2, and then -1. B prime is located at 4, and then -2. Go ahead and see if you can figure out where C prime would be located. Hopefully you agree that it's located at 3 and -3. Now what we're going to do is fill this in. We're going to see what happened to each of these x and y values to give us these new x and y values. Remember how we underlined these? These are going to be really important. What I want to remind you about first is that this is our x-axis, and it goes left and right. And that this vertical axis right here is our y-axis, and it goes up and down. So thinking about our x value here, thinking about our right, how did we mathematically get from -4 to +2 using that 6, because it's only affecting our x value? If you said that we're going to add 6, then you're correct. Let's do the same thing with our b value. B started at -2, and now it's +4. How did we get from -2 to +4 using that 6? Again, if you said that we're going to add 6, if we're going to take this -2 and add 6 to it, and that gives us +4, you'd be correct. Go ahead and try this final point right here, C prime. See if you can figure out how we got from -3 to +3. Hopefully you agree that, again, we're just going to add 6. You notice we added 6 to all of the x values. And that's what the algebraic rule tells us, that if we take the original x value and we add 6 to it, it gives us our new x value, our image. Now let's do the same thing with our y values. Remember that y's go up and down. So when I do this section here, I want to use that 4. So again, we're going to start with our original y value of 3. This time I'm going down, and if you think about going down on the y-axis, those numbers are getting smaller. If you think about going from positive 3 to negative 1, we would actually subtract 4. Now let's try the same thing with b. If we want to go from positive 2 to negative 2, positive 2 is our original, how are we going to get down to negative 2 using that 4? Again, we're going to subtract. Go ahead and see if you can find the y value for c prime. So again, hopefully you started with the original, 1. We wanted to get to negative 3. Because it's the y value, it's going to affect the up and down, so we have to use that 4, minus 4. Because 1 minus 4 gives us negative 3. So again, what did we do to each y value? We took every y value and we subtracted 4. This is the algebraic representation of the translation described here. To sum up this video, translations always and only add or subtract. They will never multiply. They will never divide. When I'm talking about right and left, just like my x-axis goes to the right and to the left, I'm going to use my x variable. If I go to the right, those numbers are getting bigger, so I'm going to add. If I'm going to the left, those numbers are getting smaller, so I'm going to subtract. If I'm talking about up and down, the y-axis goes up and down. If I go up, those numbers are getting bigger, so again, I'm going to take that y value and I'm going to add. If I go down, I'm going to take that y value and subtract because they're getting smaller. The last thing we need to talk about is congruence and orientation. Congruence means that we have the same exact shape and the same exact size. Do you agree that this shape right here is the same exact shape and the same exact size as our new image? They are congruent. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to use the word maintains. A translation maintains congruence. The next thing we're going to talk about is orientation. Orientation is just like direction. If a point was pointed up and now it's pointed down, then it has changed orientation. Now look at the location of A. It was on the top and it's still on the top. B was to the right and it's still to the right. C was at the bottom and it's still on the bottom. So hopefully you agree that this also maintains orientation.